acts of kindness, acts of generosity.
What we do, how we do it, and it was based on the biology of human decision making.
So why we're doing the why
can't we all?
That's an infinite concept.
That we are, at all moments of all days, players in games that have no finish lines. There's no such thing as winning friendship. There's no such thing as winning in marriage. If you think you're going to be number one in your marriage, it's not going to go well. And there's definitely no such thing as winning business. And yet you listen to so many leaders, and they talk about being number one, being the best, beating their competition. They have no idea how the world is actually working. They're playing with the wrong mindset for the game that they're actually playing, and when you play with a finite mindset in an infinite game, you damage trust, you damage cooperation, and you hurt innovation, and eventually the organization struggles and goes into decline.
The wrong mindset for the game that they're actually in, to the detriment of their own businesses, then it means that we have to change our mindset to play for the game that we're actually in. So how do we lead with an infinite mindset? There are 5 practices that you have to master in order to lead with an infinite mindset. Number 1, you have to have a just cause. Number 2, you have to have trusting teams. Number 3, you have to have a worthy rival. Number 4, you have to have a capacity for existential flexibility. And number 5, you have to have the courage to lead. Just cause. Does your organization offer your people a cause so just that they would be willing to sacrifice themselves, their interests, in order to advance that cause? Now, one of my favorite examples of a just cause was written down in the United States in the Declaration of Independence. The Founding Fathers of America wrote down a reason why they wanted to go to war and create their own country. All men are created equal, they said, endowed with unalienable rights, amongst which include life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. In other words, they presented an ideal vision of a future state that did not yet exist, an ideal so inspiring that they were willing to commit their honor, their fortunes, and their lives in order to advance. And winning the Revolutionary War was simply a finite victory in this infinite game. Sacrifice doesn't necessarily mean sacrificing your life. Going on frequent business trips, being away from your family, working late hours, knowing that you could probably make more money at another job. But I choose to stay here and I choose to do those things, not because I like those things, but because they feel worth it. Are you offering your people something to feel a part of, something bigger than themselves, a vision to advance that they feel is worth the sacrifice? You must have a just cause to play in the trusting teams. Remember, a trusting team is when people feel safe. They can raise their hand and say, I made a mistake. Or, you've promoted me to a position where I don't really know what to do. I think I need more training. Or I'm having troubles at home and it's affecting my work. Or I'm scared. Or I need help. Without any fear of humiliation, without any fear of retribution. In fact, they say these things with confidence that their leader, their boss, their colleagues will rush to them to support them. If you do not have trusting teams, what you have is a group of people who show up to work every day who will hide mistakes for fear of getting in trouble. The job of leadership is to create trusting teams. And if you want to play in the infinite game, you must have trusting teams. Worthy rival. There's another guy who does what I do. He gives talks, he writes books. He's extremely well respected. He does very good work. I like and respect his work as well. I just happen to hate him. And because of my hatred for him, I am very competitive with him. And I will regularly go online and check my book rankings, and then immediately go and check his. Mind you, I don't check anyone else's, just his. And if I'm ahead, I'm smug. And if I'm behind, I'm angry. It turns out the reason I hated him so much had nothing to do with him, it had everything to do with me. It's because his strengths revealed to me my weaknesses. And that made me feel insecure, and it was easier to channel all of that energy against him. It was easier to channel all of that energy into trying to beat him in order to make myself feel better The funny thing is that was such a cathartic experience for both of us that we've actually become very close friends, and now we work together on a regular basis. Even easier than working on my weaknesses is simply to partner with somebody whose strengths are my weaknesses and vice versa. In other words, you have to have worthy rivals. When we have a capacity for existential flexibility. Existential flexibility is the capacity to make profound strategic shifts, 180-degree strategic shifts, in order to better advance your cause. And there was this little upstart company called Netflix that had a new business model based on subscriptions. That you would subscribe, you remember, then they would send you the DVDs and you can keep them for as long as you want, versus how we used to rent videos in the past. And the CEO of Blockbuster went to his board and said, we have to look into the subscription model thing, especially where streaming technology is getting better and better. We should probably prepare ourselves. And the board said, absolutely not, we may not do that, because we get 12% of our revenues from late fees, and we'd be walking away from that revenue. Blockbuster no longer exists, and Netflix dominates the industry. Because if you're not willing to blow up your own company, the market will blow it up for you. The courage to lead. It is extremely hard to make decisions with a just cause in mind. Sometimes we put pressure on ourselves to focus on the finite. It's hard to maintain an infinite mindset. It's hard to adopt an infinite mindset. It takes unbelievable work, and it takes unbelievable courage. Clearly, our lives are finite, but life is infinite. We're born, we die, but life continues with us or without us. Which means, though we don't get to choose the rules of the game, we do get to choose how we want to play in this infinite game. And we can choose to live our lives with a finite mindset or...
We're making a difference. We really are making a difference. Thank you very much.